Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I've actually thought I would sit down and do a bit of a Q&A because it feels like I haven't done one in ages. I don't know, I feel like I just haven't really sat down and talked to you guys about my life, and I don't know. If you are new to my channel, I think this will be really good for you as well, because I think a lot of these questions help you kind of get a bit of insight into my life, into my past, why I do the things I do and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoy. As I mentioned, I put a question box up on Instagram and said, ask me anything and everything, and I've got lots. So I've chosen a few good ones. I got from anxiety, to motherhood, to organisation, to Ryan and my relationship, to kids, to makeup, to fitness. Pretty much I'm going to be covering everything in this Q&A. So let's get into it. Is Mr. Pase tidy, or does he help a lot with daily jobs? So Ryan and me are very opposite. But they do say opposites attract, so hopefully that's a good thing. Obviously, I'm very organised, but even though I'm organised, I'm actually a very laid back person. I know that doesn't make sense, but I think I'm more laid back because I'm organised. I don't know. And Ryan's a very, very laid back guy. He's, your typical Aussie bloke. And I think because I'm organised and it makes me relaxed and laid back some of the time, and he's just naturally laid back, I think it kind of works well. But yeah, Ryan is not a tidy person. I love you, Ryan, but... Alright, how have you and Ryan worked on your relationship since having kids? So the ups and downs. So I feel like Ryan's a very hands-on dad, and he loves kids. He's loved kids before. He's like a big kid himself. And that definitely makes, it makes being parents together a lot easier. He's very willing to, take him outside, go for a play and stuff like that, and it definitely makes life a lot easier for me. Just like any other relationship, we have ups and downs, especially when it comes to, just being a parent. So it feels like Groundhog Day most of the time. You get so stuck in a routine, there's a bedtime routine, and then by the time you've done that, clean the house and try and relax, Ryan and I basically just falling asleep. So I think one major thing that we struggle with is definitely just having quality time together, and then we both run our own businesses. So we just really do feel like passing ships, and sometimes that can really affect our relationship in terms of if we're not communicating with each other about things other than kids and work, it really does take a toll. So we're really trying to, spend more time, allocating certain nights to a date night, or just, making sure we're off our phones once the kids are in bed and actually being together. Because I feel like a lot of couples, you tend to just scroll on your phone for ages and you don't actually talk to each other. So yeah, that's kind of it. But in terms of, mum and dad roles, Ryan is very hands-on with the kids. He's always loved kids, which one of the reasons I fell in love with him in the first place. He's a really, really good dad. He's incredible. And he's the best girl dad. He'll just let the girls paint his nails or play with his hair, put makeup on him. He'll let him do anything. So yeah, in terms of that, he's amazing. But we definitely do have our hard times. Being a parent in general, there's never an off switch. You never get to just kind of relax with each other and, really planning ahead when you're going to have a date night, or just making sure, you're not on your phones, or, just actually talking to each other. So yeah, we definitely have a lot of ups and downs. For us, is the major thing we make sure we're trying to do is communicate, because you don't want, any little things that are annoying you about each other to keep bubbling up until you explode. That's not good. I feel like every relationship, you always have to work on it. You're never going to get to a point where, there's no more work, even if you have kids or not. It's always going to be a work in progress. And I think just really making time for each other, quality time, and communicating is super important. What time do you get up each morning? So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll know I get up quite early. So lately I've been getting up about 4:30, which I know sounds crazy, but in my other video I've done on here, I really do explain that I do it because I want to get on top of the day. And before I would, have a good morning routine, the girls would wake up screaming, and then it would make me stressed, and I just would have a really stressful morning, and that would set the tone for the whole day. So yeah, now I like to get up before Ryan gets up. I go to the gym, and I do a bit of journaling, meditate, and then get on with the day. And I'm a nicer person, honestly. And it's funny because when I was a teenager, I would sleep until lunchtime. I was the biggest night owl, and now I don't know, it's weird. I've gotten into like, it's a really good routine to get into. And for me, like what I said on my morning routine video, like how to get up earlier, is what I did was every week I would just get up 15 minutes earlier, and then I did that for 4 weeks. And so obviously in 4 weeks I was getting up an hour earlier, so it wasn't like such a big shock to my body, and I was naturally going to bed earlier as well. So that's kind of one of the things I did. I will link that video for you guys below, because yeah, I really go into all the tips I did to actually start getting up earlier and become a morning person. But yeah, I swear I'm not crazy. It makes me nice. It makes me more patient with the kids, just having that me time in the morning, even if that for you is just literally sitting down and having a cup of coffee. Would you and Ryan have another baby? It's funny. I always feel like clucky, and when I see a baby, I do get really, really clucky, and it makes me wonder, like, are we finished? But I'm so content with our 2 girls, and so is Ryan. Like we feel complete, and I think me just wanting to hug babies is just who I am. Like, I'm a maternal person. A lot of women are like that. And, you know, just obviously after Willow's birth, which I will do a video on that one day. I will put my birth story below though, if you guys want to read it. It was really intense. It was really traumatic. And since then, I just don't know. I don't think I'm over it, to be honest with you guys. I don't really talk about it much, but I just don't think I'm over it yet. And just seeing, like, being that close to losing my child and, you know, my own life as well, I just don't know if I could. And as you guys know, my brother Adam, he has very severe disabilities. So he's got Down syndrome and autism, and he's nonverbal. And just, you know, growing up with that, I didn't realize how much it actually affected me and caused anxieties I wasn't even aware of. So when I was pregnant with the girls, I was just so anxious about them being healthy. And I love my brother to death, and I wouldn't change him for the world. But, you know, growing up with a sibling with disabilities and seeing what your parents have to go through and everything, just the hardships of it, it scared me. It did. And, you know, I'm just so grateful to have 2 healthy girls. Like, I'm so, so grateful. And yeah, I would say we're probably not going to have any more. But if you have a baby, just let me cuddle yours. Are your eyebrows microbladed? So as you guys can see, I have very thick eyebrows. I haven't got any pencil in my eyebrows, no eyeshadow. This is just literally my eyebrows as they are. I never fill them in. The only time I would fill them in is if I have like a really strong eye makeup look. Just, I don't know, but honestly I don't really need to. And I actually hated my eyebrows in high school because I'm a 90s kid, which meant it was like pencil thin eyebrows in high school. So I over plucked mine so badly. There was like a line of hair. It was dreadful, and I'm so lucky they grew back. Do you and Ryan ever argue your relationship looks perfect from the outside? Oh, that's nice. We argue, like I said, like any other couple. For us, arguing is more like housework. And, you know, and I feel like with Ryan and I, it's not like we're angry at each other, but as I said, if we're not communicating and we have like frustration building up, we can like take it out on each other. We don't ever like fight, but it will just be like an argument about, it could be like the bins or something stupid, but we both don't hold grudges, so we get over it in like 2 minutes. So that's literally the only thing we argue about. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're pretty boring. Are you conscious of how much time you spend on social media? 100%. I think also, obviously, it is part of my job, you know, being on Instagram and all that stuff. And I think because of that, I'm actually a bit better with monitoring how much I'm on it. Ryan and I always like to say, you know, when it's the afternoon and we're home with the girls, we do try to put our phones down after 5. Obviously, if I'm posting after dinner, it's when they're already in bed. But as I said before, just our relationship in general and being a parent, you do want to be present. And I know it is really nice just to scroll on Instagram sometimes, just to switch off, but that's something I do tend to do more when I'm in bed, and then I'll get off my phone about 9:30 just so I make sure I'm asleep in time to get up really early. But yeah, I am definitely conscious of how much I'm on there. You can do like a screen time cap kind of thing on your phone. It's in your settings, so if you are like wanting to monitor how much you're on there, you can actually set an amount of time you're allowed to use certain apps, which is a good idea if you're trying to cut down. What did you do as a job before your current business and social media? So before I had the girls, really, I had my own makeup artist business. So I literally would spend all weekend doing wedding makeup, which was really good because then obviously during the week I kind of would just do like admin and paperwork and stuff. And yeah, it was really, really good. The only thing was after I had Harper, I did go back to work, I think when she was 4 months old. And I just really missed having that family time on the weekend because, you know, when you do weddings all weekend, you're gone from like 3 a.m. in the morning and then you're not home till late afternoon and you're absolutely buggered. So that was one of the other reasons why I kind of, back then, I just started doing Ryan's paperwork for his business. And then my blog took off and here we are. So yeah, that's kind of what happened, but I really did enjoy doing makeup, and I'll definitely do some more makeup videos for you guys. If you were having more babies, what would you name them? So Ryan and I always thought we'd have boys. Ryan's side have been boys for like 10 generations. So we were originally thought, you know, if we had a boy, we're going to call him Cooper. So I really love the name Cooper. I also love the name Chase, but Chase Pase does not sound good. So those were our like our boy name that we really liked. I also love like Mason and Carter, like those types of names. For a girl, I actually wouldn't know. Like if I did have another girl, I don't know what I would call her. I like names like Evie and stuff. I think that's really cute. But yeah, I really don't know. Girls' names, we literally had 2 girls' names picked out, which was Harper and Willow, and that's the names we stuck with forever. And then yeah, for another girl, maybe Evie, I don't know. Can you please go into detail about your Botox jaw injections? Yeah, so the other day I had Botox in my jaw. If you follow my stories, you would see that I do a lot of clenching when I'm stressed. So I was literally clenching my jaw and it was giving me the biggest headaches and my whole jaw was aching. So a few people recommended if you actually get Botox into your jaw muscle, it relaxes it and it stops you from like doing it. And it can also help with migraines, which I do get as well. But yeah, I wasn't nervous or anything. I've had Botox probably for a couple of years now. I get it maybe every like 5 or 6 months, basically just when I need it, just to help with like my forehead lines. It doesn't actually change your face. That's more filler, where Botox is just more of like a preventative. But you know, everyone is different, but that's just what I do. And yeah, so I've basically went in, I got the Botox in my jaw. It didn't hurt nearly as much as I thought it would. Like it was literally like a tiny sting, not even. So yeah, the pain was nothing and I've already felt the benefits. I think it's been 6 days now, so it takes 4 to 14 days. But yeah, if you're someone who like clenches your jaw a lot and you hold a lot of like tension and stress in your face, definitely have a look because it can really help, especially if you get migraines as well. But yeah, I'm really keen to obviously keep my face looking very natural. I just don't want wrinkles, ever. What inspired you to create your planners? If you're new to my channel, I have my own brand, which is called Steph Pase Planners. It started in just before 2020, and the first product was the 2020 planners. And I basically started it because obviously I'm all about organization and, you know, people utilizing their time and not feeling like a slave to their life. So I really wanted to make a planner that had everything, because every time you buy a planner, you always have to buy like the extras to put in it. So yeah, I started it and I love it. I love Steph Pase planners. I've got notepads now and fridge magnets and stuff like that. And the 2021 planners are going to be incredible. So hopefully they'll be on pre-sale end of August. But yes, there's going to be some other colors besides blush, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, so that's literally why I started Steph Pase planners. It was just a crazy idea I had one night and then I just went with it and I've learned so much. It's been, you know, it's had its ups and downs, a lot of learning along the way, because, you know, running like a personal brand like my blog and YouTube is so different to having like an actual product. There's so many like logistics to it, and just even figuring out how to actually get these products out, like the systems and stuff. So yeah, that's literally how it started. I just felt like there was a massive gap in the market and I just cannot wait for you guys to see all the new things I'm designing and things that are coming out. But yes, if you want to keep up to date with like Steph Pase planners, I'll pop the link below for you guys. How do you cope with anxiety? What strategies would you suggest? So for me, it's been a long journey with my anxiety. I basically have had it since I was little. I always knew I had anxiety, and I only knew that because, you know, I was going through it. I used to think I was going to die. Like I would have panic attacks and it was horrible. But my mum also suffers from anxiety. So it was, in a way, it was very helpful for me, especially as a young person, having someone, especially a family member, being able to tell you like, you're going to be okay, this is what it is, and these are some ways we can cope. So it was a lot of, you know, therapy, and eventually now I actually am on anxiety medication, which was something, it took me a very, very long time to get there. I kind of felt like I wasn't allowed to. I think when I went on it, I was 20. And it's weird with anxiety. It's like you feel like, you know, you don't actually know why you're anxious. It's just like this feeling in your chest. And for me, it feels like I'm suffocating and there's like something really heavy on my chest. It could be if I've got, you know, too many things to do at once, or there's, I don't know, if I don't get enough sleep. Like, I actually don't even know. Like, I just get triggered sometimes and it's always there, but there are times it's a lot better and then there's times it's a lot worse. You know, for me, my main strategies obviously is the medication, but everyone's completely different. And I'm not saying like that's the first thing you should do. Medication is definitely something you need to talk to your doctor with after you've tried other strategies. So for me, besides that, exercise is huge for me. And it really does help you release a lot of anxious tension, which is something that I definitely need. And I feel like a lot of mums just really need to have like even 15, 20 minutes of exercise every day. And it's not even just to look a certain way. It's just so you feel like, I don't know, like it's like a release, and it's the best. So definitely exercise. And when I'm quite bad, I will go back and see my counselor / therapist, and they just help me with like strategies and sometimes there's little questions and things you can ask yourself when you're, you know, going through anxiety that can kind of ground you again. How do you stay so motivated to get things done all the time? I think for me, like, you know, getting up early, going to the gym, it's just part of my routine now. And I wish there was like a secret thing I could tell you that makes you motivated 24/7, but there's 100% times where I'm not motivated. And for me, I just know, you know, when I exercise and when I do stick to my routines, I just feel better, even if I just don't feel like doing anything. And there's heaps of days. And in terms of like, you know, my cleaning schedule and stuff, of course I miss days. Like, I'm human, shit happens. And, you know, if things happen like that, I just got to cut yourself some slack. It's not about being perfect at all. It's just about, you know, for me, it's just about having these routines that make me like cope better as a mom, as a wife, as a human being. Some things that can really help you keep motivated is, you know, tracking your habits, going to the gym or exercising at home, you know, even just being social. Like when I'm social with my friends more often, I find I'm more motivated in general, and just like listening and absorbing information that's like really inspiring. So listening to podcasts, reading books. Every time I read a book, I get really motivated. So there's some really good ways to kind of keep yourself going. So yes, I hope these little tips helped, but I'm definitely not always motivated. I literally ordered a Portos like 3 times in the last 3 weeks. Next question is, would love to know more about your PND journey as I went through it too. Yeah, so after both of my girls, I did suffer from postnatal depression and anxiety, and it was ruthless. It was, when I think back, I just don't even know how I coped. It's such a dark place. And for me, because Ryan and I wanted both of our babies, we tried for both. So I thought that even though obviously I already had anxiety and I was more predispositioned to having PND and postnatal anxiety, I thought because I wanted the baby, I'm not going to get it. But it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. It's just like, it's really sad that there is a stigma attached to some mothers. They feel like because they are feeling depressed or anxious after they've had a baby, they feel like they think they're not grateful or that they're not cut out to be mothers, and that's not it at all. It's just something that happens after you have a baby. It's the chemicals in your brain, and it's like just anything. When you get sick, you go to the doctor. You know, when you have a mental health issue, you go to the doctor. It's the same thing. And for me, after Harper, I didn't realize for ages that I even had it. I think it was Ryan, he really noticed that I was in this deep, dark place. And for me, I've never really had depression. I had a little bit when I was a teenager, but for me, it's always just been anxiety. But after the girls, I was just depressed. And I was angry at myself because I'm like, you wanted a baby. What is wrong with you? Why are you being ungrateful? And it wasn't that at all. You know, we're only human. And as mothers, especially your first baby, it's such a change. Like, you literally got this human and you have to look after it 24/7. It's massive, and you've just gone through this really physical thing as well, and you don't get to recover. Like, it's a lot to go through, and I think we just really need to be kind to ourselves. So for me, looking back, I just wish I went to the GP earlier after Harper, instead of like telling myself I'll snap out of it. Also, you know, getting out and going for walks and just seeing some friends when you can, because that really helped. For me, I felt my worst when I was at home alone with the baby. Especially in the morning, I was really bad because I think I was anxious for the day ahead. Like, what was the day going to bring is my baby, is she going to be okay? Am I going to get any sleep? So stuff like that. So, you know, getting out, and then I was going for walks every morning. And then Ryan was actually the one, he's like, let's just go see the doctor, because, you know, Ryan this whole time, he didn't really know much about anxiety before he met me, and he's learned a lot, and he really does get it now. Like, obviously he's never really experienced it. He's experienced feeling anxious, which is different, but with anxiety, like, you've got it all the time. So being anxious is a normal emotion for humans. It's normal. But anxiety is something that's always there. You're always anxious. You always have some sense of anxiety, and then some days it's really bad. And like for me, I used to not even be able to get out of bed. Like, I couldn't do anything, and it's just it's dreadful. If you are a mum right now and you feel like you're going through postnatal depression or anxiety, please just stop being so hard on yourself and go and get some help. And that's fine. That's fine. At the end of the day, your baby and your family, they want you to be happy. They want a happy mum. And if that means going to see a therapist or going to the doctor or whatever steps you have to take, then do it. Life's too short to feel like shit. Where should you start if you feel overwhelmed by a messy life? Being surrounded by mess is really going to affect anyone's emotional and mental state as well. Having like clutter really does contribute to mental clutter. And this is literally why I am so big on organizing. Like, I love it because I was once that messy teenager. And obviously I felt like crap. I was anxious all the time. I couldn't think straight. And it literally is life-changing having less stuff. When you're surrounded by crap, you're going to feel crap. And I know decluttering and wanting to overhaul your whole home can be super overwhelming in itself. You know, it's like you're thinking about all the areas that you have to do, and it's very, you know, a lot of us will just start and then not get anywhere else. The way that I like to teach you guys to like declutter and organize it is not look at the big picture. I don't want you to look at the whole house. I don't want you to look at the whole room. I want you to look at section by section. So, you know, that drawer, that shelf, and just do it like 5 minutes a day. That's all you have to do. Because, you know, if you try to tackle like a whole room or your whole house in a day, it gets worse before it gets better. Like, if you've decluttered before, you would know there's literally shit everywhere, and it takes time, but it gets better. You just have to stick with it. But I'm always decluttering. Like, every week I'll be like, oh, that drawer's looking a bit full, or that drawer's looking a bit messy, and I'm gonna like tackle that this week. And it's just not putting too much pressure on yourself. So, you know, do it section by section, drawer by drawer, and you will get there eventually. But just take your time. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this Q&A video. Please leave any other questions you have below. And yeah, let me know what you guys want to see next week. And I'll see you then. Bye.